Hey there, it's your host, Cindy Chang, founder of Evolve Consulting Co. and the visionary behind an exciting new venture launching in 2025, making staffing accessible for companies of all sizes. Welcome back to the Fearless Entrepreneurs podcast, where we dive deep into the stories behind Canada's most inspiring brands. Together, we'll uncover how these bold entrepreneurs sparked their dreams, tackled their toughest challenges, and leaned into their fears to achieve success. I'm thrilled you're here, bold enough to embrace the hard truths and inspired to learn from their journeys. Ready to dive in? Let's go. Today, we have Andrew Frank in the house. Andrew Frank is a leader in luxury menswear, known for its meticulous approach to craftsmanship and personalized style. As the founder and CEO of Lingo, Luxe, Bespoke, he has built a brand that focuses on creating high-quality, custom-tailored suits, shirts, and accessories that reflects each client's individuality. Since launching in 2008, Andrew has prioritized ethical sourcing and sustainability by partnering with renowned textile mills, ensuring that every piece is made with integrity and attention to detail. In addition to Lingo Luxe, Andrew leads Lingo Elite Fashions, Inc., the parent company that oversees brands such as APM Apparel, which offer uniform and corporate apparel supplier that has a tagline, uniforms that perform. He is very aware of who is wearing it, how it performs in their day-to-day job. Outside his professional pursuits, Andrew is a husband and a father of 3, balancing family life with his passion for design. He's also an avid golfer with a 5 handicap. I don't know what that means, but my husband's, that's really good. And a keen enthusiast of cars and watches. Interest that reflects his appreciation for precision and craftsmanship in all forms. We are so honored to dive into Andrew's journey in the fashion industry, his approach to building a brand with purpose, and what it takes to create a truly personalized style experience. Welcome, Andrew, to the show.
Thank you, Cindy. Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. So I always like to ask, once you listen to a list of your accomplishments, how does it feel?
It's great. I think it's interesting as an entrepreneur to reflect on what you have done. Yeah. I think oftentimes you've got this vision and you're primarily focused on that goal. Yeah. What are the smaller goals on the way there? Mm-hmm. And when you achieve them, it's just a check mark. Yeah. Okay, great. I'm on to the next. I'm on to the next. I'm on to the next. Mm-hmm. Those things that you have done are a collection of a lot of mini goals that have led to that. So it's humbling more than anything. And you just give thanks for the people, the circumstances that have helped you get there.
Yeah. That probably is just because you're a humble person, because I think there's lots of ways for people to look at it. But I think that you just take a look at it from a place of humility. I think that's special. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's a testament to how I was raised, how we were brought up as children, is that you understand that very few things, if anything in life, is just you. Yeah. There's God, there's your parents, there's the community, there are teachers, mentors, coaches. It's a massive collection of things that enable you to do anything. Yeah. And I feel how we were raised is the younger you can be taught that or made aware of it, it's a beneficial element to life. Yeah. Is that instead of you thinking that everything is about you, yes, or everything is happening to you, that's not really the case.
That is so true. You know what I tell my 5-year-old all the time, Andrew? I tell her, it's not all about you, girl. Guess what? Today, it is not all about you. Right. I tell her that, and she's 5, probably damaging her self-esteem straight from the get-go. I've met you a handful of times now, and every single time, you look so sharp. And the material is just amazing, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But let's take it back in your journey. How did you get into fashion?
First of all, I thank you for the compliment. It's important to acknowledge that and be grateful. I think when I look back, and so many people have asked me, how did this happen? Or how did you get into it? It wasn't until I would say almost removed myself from my conscious being to look into, okay, how did I get into this? You know what you're interested in, kind of what you're good at or what you might want to do. But when it came to this, a lot of it was like osmosis. So I remember my mother had a boutique. I think it was in the Eaton Center.
Yeah.
And our basement, like my childhood basement, now looks like my adult basement.
Right.
Where clothing rack after clothing rack after clothing rack, samples and pinking shears and binders and calendars. So that was our like playground.
Yeah.
Like we had a sizable basement, and we would go down and we would dress up in last year's fashions, and my sisters and my brother and I would wear this and have like fashion shows, and
that's so
we would
cool.
kind of play around. So I think a fashion aspect came from there. My mother was a model as well, so she understood and taught us, okay, here's how to get dressed. A couple of us children, me specifically, kind of hard-headed. And I said to my mom, like, I want to dress myself. And instead of pushing back, she said, okay, fine. If you're going to dress yourself, I'll teach you, and then you have to do it. And I was all more than willing to go down that road. So she taught me, okay, here's how to pull an accent color. Here's how to accentuate this. And here's how to choose a jacket for your pants or pants for your jacket, or a blouse. Here's how to choose a shirt or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I learned and said, okay, great. I always use this example, like as a kid, you get dressed, snap of the fingers.
Yeah.
So we would get dressed, and then we would sit on our parents' bed while they got dressed for church. Mm-hmm. So we would be sitting there, let's say in our little shiny gray suit with a red tie, and you're just waiting to see what your parents are wearing. Or my father is in a suit, 2-piece, 3-piece, to this day, fedora, scarf.
I've seen a picture. He looks so fly.
Thank you. So watching that and seeing that, again, by osmosis, you're like, okay, this is kind of neat. My mom always teases us that we would laugh at my dad matching his tie to his pocket square and his pocket square to his socks. And now she's like, every time I see you, that's what you look like. So it's kind of neat that everything has come full circle.
That is so funny. So was she a designer, or what did she sell at her booth there?
She didn't design. She was like a curator. So she would go to shows. She would buy from catalogs.
Right.
And then accessorize the store.
Okay. A buyer. Very cool. So it was within you. That's what you were taught from the start of life, as you've been around this in your entire life, basically.
It was one of those things where I didn't realize it until you had to go back.
Yes.
And then say, okay, how did this happen? Yeah, we've had clothing racks and samples in our house forever.
Yeah, it was your playground.
It was our playground.
And is any of your siblings in fashion as well, or were you the only one that stepped into this industry as an adult?
I'm the only one that stepped in.
Oh, interesting. Okay, interesting.
To this day, they're all very fashionable in their own right. But yeah, I was the only one that sort of dove in head first.
To get to a professional level. Are you the youngest?
No, I'm kind of middle. There's 4 of us, 2 older sisters and a younger brother.
In the middle. Yeah. Cool. And you grew up with it, and how did you turn this professional? Did you start working in the fashion industry?
Indirectly.
Okay.
So I started at a golf course as a golf operations, like people call it back then, like a back shop kid. So you're 13 years old, you get people's clubs, you clean them, you put them on a cart, you clean them again, clean the cart, and
you gotta pay your dues.
Your day to day.
Yeah.
Pick balls from the driving range. It was when I moved in to be an assistant professional in the pro shop. Okay, now you're in charge of apparel. Mm-hmm. So whether it's accessorizing, cleaning, buying, putting together displays or assortments, you're now more in the day to day. Understanding, okay, what products are high end, what products are low end, how do you accessorize them or mix them together, who is more likely to buy this, who's more likely to buy that, to get an understanding. I would say that was my foundational understanding of apparel.
Yeah.
I spent just shy of 5 years at Nike. So again, in apparel, supply chain, understanding from concept drawing to items falling out of the line catalog to then what goes to production to then what goes to retail. I got a very strong education in that, which I was able to take into these brands to understand that your supply chain is just as perhaps even more important than what it looks like. Right. Anybody can make something look good, but can you produce it time and time and time again to whatever level you're looking at? For us, it's a high level. Can you consistently do that? That was, I would say, more of the challenge.
So within apparel, I didn't know that. That's one of the most important relationships is supply chain and how to keep things moving in a mechanical fashion so that production doesn't stop. Because with apparel, you almost have to be working, correct me if I'm wrong, a season before or a year before the line comes out.
Yeah, so those timelines, I would say, continue to get shorter and shorter, given technology and given a lot of the resources that we've got. But yes, I would say when I first started, we're looking at minimum 6 months. You're 9 to 12, depending on the technicality of the piece. You might be in 15 months in advance of when you envision it's going to come out and be available at retail. With a lot of the European textile suppliers, because their fashion windows are shorter, they're a little bit more fashion conscious, if you will. So understanding what's hot, let's say in Italy today, we might not even see for a few months. So then how do you layer in what has been selling really great with what's coming in the next 2 to 3 months with what's coming after that? I would say it's got to be for the right person, but it's interesting to see, okay, how do all these countries around the world share information? How do you make something that's happening in Mozambique relevant to what's happening in Canada or in Naples? How do you make it make sense to your Canadian constituents 3 months from now?
So your brain always has to be turning. And then how do you make it accessible to people? Because when you're on the runways or when you're in Mozambique, it doesn't just translate. You can't just produce the same thing and have it be, you have to be able to integrate and infuse pieces that people will actually wear too, right?
Exactly.
Well, you were in Nike for 5 years, which was more athleisure, like sports. How did you transition into luxury?
Yeah, I always personally liked to wear suits, dress shirts, ties, pocket squares, fancy shoes, whatever it was. I really enjoyed getting dressed up, so to speak. For suits, it was sort of an evolution. I wanted to create a brand and I wanted it to be something that I truly embodied.
Yes.
I had an opportunity to make a suit for a really good friend of mine. He's like, okay, I need a suit. I know you make custom clothes. Can you make me a suit?
Yeah.
And I said, okay, yeah, I can make you a suit. I'll make myself a suit at the same time. And I made him a suit and he loved it.
And you hadn't had your business by then. You hadn't opened up Lingo Luxe
Not
at
yet.
that point. Okay.
We were sort of just on the cusp of putting it together. So I'd made a few golf pieces. I had made a few athleisure pieces. And kind of like a teenager, you're figuring your way in the marketplace.
Yeah.
But I knew a lot of the things, okay, to be consistent, to be authentic, to be able to speak to it in your sleep, so to speak. And I knew, okay, I not just like the way it looks, like I really enjoy wearing these clothes. I know what's been comfortable on me, what hasn't been comfortable, and I can listen to people very well and reflect that in the finished product.
Right.
And that was really the kickoff.
Yes.
And then I started wearing variations of that first suit and comments and questions and, hey, can you do that for me? Or is that custom? I'm 6'6", I'm 5'6", I'm 150 pounds, I'm 350 pounds. Can you make it work for me? And the answer is yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
And that really kicked things off.
That's how it evolutionized into its own thing. And do you still have your first suit?
I do.
What does it look like?
It's blue.
Okay.
Which is a pretty safe color.
You're like, if I'm going to make my first suit, I'm going to make it safe.
Something.
Yeah.
Promptly followed up by my second suit, which was like a rich maroon.
I was going to say, it's got to be a red. It's got to be a red.
Yeah, gold accents and all kinds of. After I'm like, okay, I can make it look any way I want.
Yeah.
I'm skipping the conservative safe part.
Well, and also if you're a walking billboard for your suits, like you want it to be a showstopper. You want people to stop you on the street and slap you, right?
Yeah.
Which is what happened today.
Exactly.
You were telling us. But you want it to be a show because ultimately you are you're wearing your brand all the time. And I think that's how the first time I met you, I think you had like leopard on the inside lining. And I'm a sucker for anything leopard.
Right.
Like anything leopard. This guy knows his stuff.
Yeah.
And so you got to have those details that make people want to stop and ask, where did you get that suit from?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understood that and was able to harness it without going like over the top. But harnessing it is to say, whether you like it or not,
Yeah.
you're a de facto billboard.
Of course. Yeah.
And if it's your brand, even more so.
Yes.
So
Absolutely. And so you just started making suits for your buddy. You made it for yourself. You went maroon suit, your second one. And then how did you evolve it into a business? How did this turn into something where you're like, okay, I'm ready to step away from corporate into what is now my full-time hustle?
I made a conscious choice that I would say at a certain age where I was at the time, it's a highly desirable job that I had.
At Nike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That not many people leave, if anyone. And I knew sort of the way things were going and the vision that I had there and the communications that I was having internally. If I don't leave now, I'm never going to leave. I wanted to get married. I wanted to have kids, and I'd read and experienced that oftentimes those are positive elements, but they block certain levels of creativity or risk, where if you've got 4 mouths to feed, the last thing you're going to do is empty your life savings into this high risk venture.
Entrepreneurship. Yeah.
Yeah. To say, well, maybe it'll work. There's a
Yeah.
high probability that it won't.
Yeah.
And it's, from my experience, it's fine if it's just you bounce back.
Yeah.
You might have to go live with a friend or live with your parents or whatever,
Yeah.
but you snap your fingers, okay, you're out of the game for 6 months, a year, you bounce back and you're back at it. Whereas that's not always the case with a spouse, with children. So I said, okay, I've got to do it now. Otherwise, the desires that I have in the future, it might be too high of a risk to jump into then.
And you hadn't had kids at this point.
No.
So you had made the conscious decision in future planning to say, okay, I'm going to leave a stable, high desired paying job to entrepreneurship, which is high risk, high reward, but high risk,
Right.
so that I don't have to do it down the road when I have children or when I start a family.
Right.
Interesting. That's very respectable.
I love history, first of all, but I was always taught and encouraged just to say history has the tendency to repeat itself. And if there's someone or people or mentors that have gone before you, one, you have to have a level of discernibility. You have to be able to discern if what they're saying to you is valuable,
Yeah.
or if it's, let's say, oftentimes just their experience and it's full of regret or something.
Yeah.
But what are the nuggets that you can pull from it that you know are factual or so impactful that you're like, look, I don't want to repeat that.
So what were they? Tell me. Share the nuggets.
But yes, those are some of the things, is to say, look, there's a high probability that your first, your second, your third, your fourth, maybe your 10th try or stab at entrepreneurship may fail.
Yeah.
And sometimes those are simply growing pains. Sometimes those are points that are indicative that what you're doing isn't working, because the marketplace will always give you that feedback,
Yeah.
positive or negative. Another nugget is it's a lot easier to play your own hand than your hand, your spouse's hand, your first child, your second child, your third child's hand, is that they didn't ask for what you asked for. De facto, like, let's say starting with your spouse, okay, my wife loved me and we got married. She may not have loved my businesses or my...
Eating macaroni and cheese 24 days in a row.
So
Yeah.
it's to say that you've got to acknowledge those things, is that
That is so
they didn't
fascinating.
ask for that. You asked for that.
Yeah.
And now, okay, you're married, you're one, but she still may not have asked for it. The kids may not have asked for you to, okay, you can only come to one game a week. They didn't ask for that. As I would say, children, they want you to be there all the time.
Yeah.
But your desires are saying, look, I'm building this thing, or I've got to go to this country, or I got to go to this state or this town at the same time. And that's going to take precedent, because 12 years from now, you want to go to university and I need to make sure I have enough money to pay for it.
Yeah.
Those are the things. So I learned, if you're going to do something like this, which is at its core selfish, it's better to do it when it's just you.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, you're very transparent with your partner, your spouse. okay, it's just us. So that I would say was the biggest takeaway. That was the biggest nugget, is that
That's so interesting.
one, if I don't do it now, I might never do it. And two, there are less people depending on me now than I envision there will be in the future. And I would say another thing is I didn't want to have regret. You'd listen to some people, young, old, middle, and there are always elements of regret, not necessarily decisions. I mean, everybody regrets.
Yeah.
I didn't have the guts. I didn't have the gumption. I didn't have the self-belief. Whatever it was, I never did it.
Yeah.
And you're always wondering. I had a very good friend. His father wanted to be a police officer, but his father's parents didn't want him to be a police officer. It wasn't until my friend's father's parents passed away and their son was cleaning up the house that he found the acceptance letter from the police department that 25 years ago he got accepted to be a police officer, and the parents hid
it from him.
They hid the acceptance.
Oh my gosh.
So his father had lived, one, in contempt,
knowing that,
not knowing that.
Oh, not
So
knowing
that the police department just never got back to him. He wasn't good enough.
But his parents knew that their whole life, that they kept this from him.
Right. So it's one of those things where it's so, when you know, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, I got in. I didn't get in.
Yeah.
I tried. I failed.
Yeah.
Or I tried and I succeeded. But there's something magical in knowing.
Yeah.
Versus not knowing, because your brain is designed to protect you. It will give you a litany of excuses, stories that make you feel a little bit better about yourself on the surface. But deep down, you're still wondering, like, why didn't I?
Absolutely.
So I didn't want to have that. I said, I would rather know and fail and then just do something else or try again versus never knowing.
Yeah.
That I knew would be way worse for me to stomach. So I said, okay.
That is so incredible, Andrew. I hope you know that just in hearing that part of it, it is so full of insight. It is so responsible as an entrepreneur, because usually entrepreneurs that I speak to, or even myself, it is like a desire that burns on the inside, and then people act on it when you no longer have an option not to act on it anymore, right? And then you don't ever think about any of the other factors like my spouse, my kids, putting my whole family at risk. People usually just dive with 2 feet in. And you're right, they either succeed or they fail. But your timing was so calculated in the best way possible because you knew you wanted a family. I think that's very incredible to hear. I've never heard that before.
I would attribute it to having lengthy conversations, to having mentors and people to provide guidance with, and or people that have provided guidance to me.
Yeah.
But listening to it is to say, like, hey, and I'm human, like I haven't done everything right. I've done tons of things wrong. But at a base level, I feel, okay, if you're trying your best, you're looking for things to make sense, especially when they are higher risk ventures where, okay, who is involved?
Yeah.
Who might be involved? And how can I mitigate some of the downside here that's just me with this light bulb and a burning desire? If it's burning, it's never going to go away. But if you can learn to, I would say the best way to put it is, if you're an entrepreneur and you're a wild stallion, if you can learn to put a saddle on at key moments, it will really help you.
Yes.
Because that burning desire or that wildness of a stallion will never go away. It's the controlled wildness or the controlled burning desire that allows you to take step 1, then step 2, then step 3, and so on, to ultimately get to or to build whatever it is you're looking to build.
Yeah.
That, I would say, is the most beneficial way for all people involved.
I think that's a really good description of what entrepreneurship is that it has to be a good balance between wildness. You got to be able to have some brute force to move your business forward, and also structure, and you got to put in some of those breaks sometimes, because otherwise you're just then all over the place, which we've seen before too.
Right.
And then it becomes like a train wreck that everyone watches, right?
Right.
So you had started your business. At this point, you had left Nike. You were like, I got to do it now. If I don't do it now, I'm not going to do it. So you're like, bye, Nike. See you later. How did you start your business? What was the first thing you did, and what was going through your head?
The first thing I did was I went back to sort of documents that I got done and drawings and goal books to say, okay, what the heck am I doing? How do I actually do this? Yeah. And there I'd found everything from people that had said, hey, when you do finally do XYZ, give me a call.
Yeah.
Either they want to buy something or they want to help or make an introduction. I found logo drawings that I had sketched out. Insignias, taglines, colors, all sorts of different things that are pivotal into putting a brand.
So you'd been dreaming about this for a while.
And ultimately, some foundational elements to say, okay, your logo, for me, I cherish like history, authenticity, storytelling, and meaningful. So I put together a heritage logo that is 2 Pegasus sort of intertwined, 2 cannons, filigree in a shield. I chose those consciously to say, okay, Pegasus are limitless creatures from Greek mythology. So I love Greek mythology, and a Pegasus is limitless.
Yeah.
Power is measured in horsepower. Wings enable you to fly and go anywhere and do anything. So I wanted the brand to be able to go anywhere and to do anything.
I love that.
The cannons were chosen, one for my mother, one for my father, both from the Caribbean. And on the coasts of many islands or many Caribbean nations, you'll see cannons. And they were there to defend themselves against slavers or invaders, to shoot cannons, to wreck the ships and sink it. So back to history, this represents my father. The filigree is like the leaves or trees in a forest that, as healthy or nurtured and growing, is that my family is healthy, nurtured, and growing.
Love it.
Those elements are sort of coming together, and that enables you to tell a story, but not just a story to tell a story. It's a meaningful story of what your brand is, what it represents, and what you envision. And I'm thankful that I learned that and embraced that early. People are buying from people, and ultimately, yes, your brand becomes an extension of you, but at first people are buying from you. And then if your brand or your story is powerful enough, the second apron of people are buying from that story and you. And then that continues to grow, the third apron, the fourth apron, but all of it leads back to the story. And once I'd had those elements together, I said, okay, I'm sort of ready to take this out into the real world. Website, social media, photo shoots.
Now it's real.
Now it's real.
Yeah.
You're looking for Fashion Week and you're looking for pop-up shops and almost any way to get your brand out, to get people to fall in love. Or I learned this later, but a lot of it is visceral reactions.
Yes.
You either want people to fall in love or to be like, I don't like that at all. But you've got to, obviously, you have to have thick skin.
Yeah.
For someone to hate what your baby is or what you've put all of your energy and efforts into. But ultimately, you would rather that than no reaction.
Right.
Or a lukewarm is to say, some people might hate it and they might teach you something through their hate.
Right.
And some people might just hate it because, hey, they hate everything or they don't even really like their life. So you learn to discern.
Truth, yeah.
Right? You learn to discern is to say, hey, that person hates XYZ. And you might be driving home or on the subway or Ghost, whatever.
It might spawn an idea.
And it spawns an idea to say, hey, you know what? They hated that. But come to think of it, when I look at it, it's not strong enough or it's not truly a representation of what I want it to be. And I'm going to leave my ego in the closet and learn from that.
Right.
Or you might get like trolls and they are just trolling a comment and you're like, that's always going to happen.
Right.
So let that person hate, but they don't have anything to teach me. So I've got duck feathers, let it fall off and let me continue on my way to fly. But both of those reactions can often play a part in affirming what you're doing or allowing you to course correct if you're able to see through what your emotions are bubbling up and telling you, is to say, hey, there's something valuable here. Let me extract that and continue on my way.
What I find interesting is that because in your field, it has an element of creative expression. A lot of it is your creative expression. You're like an artist in a sense. Designers are like artists in a sense where you're putting forward what your design expressions are. And so when you get negative or positive feedback, do you find designers take it more personally because it's an expression of yourself, like so personal? It's sometimes hard to separate.
It is. I wouldn't be telling you the truth if I said it wasn't.
Yeah.
It is hard to separate, especially from that artist or that individual. When you put so much care into building the product or the brand or the service, when you put so much care into it and you want everybody to be 10 out of 10 satisfied and happy. If there are things that make the experience a little bit less, or if a product doesn't quite live up to the standard, or if it breaks or falls apart or something, it is difficult to separate the emotional part of it as like an affront to who you are versus a physical product or a service. So the earlier or the faster or the better that you can learn to sort of separate the two, say, the better off you are.
Yeah.
But again, some of those personal boiling up emotions will teach you.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes a long time, or sometimes it teaches you and you react in a way that you shouldn't. As you mature, if you can really embrace and understand, despite the fact that, yes, your name is on the door or your name is in the actual suit, it is not you, the better off you'll be.
That's fair. All entrepreneurs describe their business like their baby, so everyone takes it really personally. I'm wondering if as a designer you add an additional element because the creative process is so subjective sometimes. Why the name Lingolux? Where did that come from?
That came from, I started in golf. So I worked with my brother and I worked with a really good friend of ours. And where we worked, you're out in the open all day. So you have members at the golf course coming in and out all day. And you're taught to anticipate needs. And the better you can anticipate those needs, the better experience the members are going to have, and ultimately the better experience you have. If you're just dealing with happy people all day, you're probably going to have a pretty good day. If you're not dealing with happy people all day, you're probably going to have a crummy day. So how this ties in is that we had to come up with our lingo to be able to communicate with each other effectively without members knowing what the heck we were talking about. So we came up with literally a lingo or jargon of a word that meant something else that could be freely said.
Yeah, like a secret language.
A secret language that could be freely said in the confines of work without anybody sort of peeking up their ears or saying, like, what are these?
Right.
Not like pig Latin or something.
Yeah. Like, so, Sam's a real bitch today. Oh, that lemonade is quite delicious.
So we had to come up with, a lingo. And it was neat because we were the only ones that knew what the heck was going on, but everything got taken care of. So when I was thinking of, okay, what do I want to name this company? I said Lingo. I chose it specifically because it's custom clothing. So you are telling your story to the world through your clothing choice. So through your creativity, you might like yellow. I might like maroon. So you're telling the world, hey, this is my favorite color. This is my style. This is what I love. And I'm equally doing the same thing. If you were walking on the right side of the street and I was walking on the left side of the street, I know you're wearing lingo. You know I'm wearing lingo. So we're still speaking the same language, even though it's a different color. So it was about that individual expression. Your lingo and my lingo is still the same lingo. And then I picked Luxe because I was raised, you do things once, you do things right. So I wanted to make sure that I didn't cut corners or skimp. It was, if you're going to do something, do it right.
Yeah.
Do it at a very high level with a high level of care. And that was luxury. That's the mills that we've chosen to work with, down to the threads, to the accessories that come together to put a garment together. We wanted it to be high end.
Yeah.
And then bespoke, because I don't like to say no. I wanted the highest level of customization that's available. I wanted our products and services to reflect that.
Yeah.
Is to say, yeah, we will go through 4 fittings, 5 fittings. We'll get you what you envisioning in your mind.
Right.
We'll bespoke it into existence.
That name means so much, and I didn't know that's the history and the story behind it. You need to come up with a hand sign. So if I'm walking down on the one side of the street and you are, you need to have a Lingo Luxe hand sign. So tell me about millwork textiles and sustainability. I know you're very choiceful on the fabrics that you use. And the thing is, people can't see on the podcast, but your materials are incredible. So tell us about fabric choices. Tell us about your need to have it be sustainable within the industry, because right now there's a lot of fast fashion, which I know is a different topic. Tell us all about the choices in your business.
I would say we chose to work with the mills that we work with specifically because of their heritage.
Okay.
So their time spent in the industry, their time spent shearing animals, to creating yarns, to ultimately creating textiles, and having standards that were uncompromisable, where just because fashion was going this way or fashion was going that way, they chose to be steadfast into what they're doing for a specific reason. And ultimately, being in fashion, they're aware that it's cyclical. So as long as you're staying true to something, that cycle is always going to come back to you.
Right.
And if you spend your time chasing the cycle, you'll always chase the cycle. But if you spend your time being steadfast into something, that cycle will ultimately chase you. And what that translates to, if you peel all the layers back of the onion, is that we're using wools, cottons, silks, linens, cashmere. Those are, by nature, environmentally friendly. Yes, we understand that some of the processes that were used and even some of the processes that are used now are water intensive or dye, can sometimes be harmful. Those continue to improve, and we continue to invest and to stay true to those mills that are investing in R&D to improve those processes. But you're using natural fibers as opposed to synthetic fibers. Not only are they better for health, they're better for the environment, and ultimately better, they're touching your skin all day.
What you're saying is the choices of materials that you use come from nature, sourced in a very sustainable way, meaning that they shear them, they don't have to skin them to make your suit. That's very interesting.
Companies, if you look at one of the mills, specifically Loro Piana, they have invested tremendous amount of resources, financial resources, into farms, into working with farmers in specific areas of the world to cultivate the animals, to ensure that they're healthy, to ensure that the farmers are compensated with more than a livable wage, because in return, they're extracting those natural fibers.
Yeah.
So it's not only just about improving their lot to make sure that they get great fibers, they're now improving the lives of the farmers, improving the lives of the individuals that are transporting the fibers, while simultaneously improving the lives of the animals, who are ultimately the proverbial golden goose. The healthier and the happier the animal is, the better fibers we're going to get, which in turn, way down the chain, our clients are happier because there's a consistent level of high-end wool or silk or cashmere or what have you that they're ultimately wearing. One decision upstream has a tremendous effect downstream. So we were really conscious of that to begin with, is to say that we wanted to make sure that we were working with these types of mills and working with natural fibers as opposed to synthetic.
And if you guys ever have the opportunity to feel the fabrics, it's incredibly lightweight. It's silky and it's not heavy at all, and it molds to your body.
Right.
You gotta make what? Do you make women's?
We do make women's
All
as well,
right.
yeah.
Hook me up.
I will.
Okay, there you go. I want a matching suit with Andrew. That's it. Him and me just rolling down the street with our gang signs. Now you have evolved your business where you have the Lingo Luxe Bespoke, where you make luxury premium suits for men and for women. And APM apparel with corporate apparel. How did you get into that, or what's the idea of that?
I'll give you both. So how did we get into it? Lingo client asked for hooded sweatshirts for their company. Hey, can you do this? I follow Richard Branson. He is an advocate of say yes and figure it out
later.
Figure it out later. So, hey, Andrew, can you do this? Yes. Okay, now I got to figure it out.
Yeah.
So that is how it came into be. The other part of it is, okay, what are we going to do? How are we going to make this? How is this going to be a brand? How can it stand on its own? What is it going to represent? All of the same things that we did on the Lingo side, we now had to do on the APM side. I mentioned to you I started in golf, so I've worn a uniform forever. What were the drawbacks? What did I enjoy? What didn't I enjoy? How did I feel when I wore this? Mm-hmm. How did I treat members or guests or patrons when I was comfortable? How did I treat them when I was uncomfortable? And all of those elements sort of inform your decision making. Okay, what are you going to represent? How are you going to craft a garment or make something that someone else has to wear 40 hours a week, right?
Yeah.
How are you going to make it so when they have to put it on, that it is not far less of a chore than a decision to just, this is what I wear to work. Okay, great. It fits me. It's comfortable. Maybe it's not my favorite color, but I don't have very many negative things to say about it.
Right.
And that's what we're really having those conversations with the buyers, is that this isn't like rainbows and butterflies. It's scientific.
Yeah.
If I'm comfortable in what you're effectively forcing me to wear, then I'm going to be more pleasant.
For sure.
I'm going to be more empathetic. I'm going to be more willing to go above and beyond or take someone's concern and bring a viable solution to it. Versus, I mean, if you're uncomfortable and cranky, I don't want to deal with you.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd want to deal with me.
And it starts at the close. And the thing is, that's so true, because I used to work for a big travel company here in Canada, and they had forced us to wear uniforms, and they were terrible. I never wore them. I took them all home. I had a dress, I had pants, I think I had a blouse that didn't breathe, I had a blazer. They give you the whole fit.
Right.
I never wore any of it because I'm like, I'm not going to wear this.
Yeah.
It doesn't breathe. My armpits are sweating like crazy. Why would I wear this? But why do people continue to invest any money in something that their staff won't wear?
It's a question that I often ask myself.
Yeah.
And a lot of it comes down to, yes, like most things, dollars and cents.
Right.
And that's where we go back to, like, sustainability.
Yeah.
Is to say, okay, you can buy, let's say, synthetic material, something at a lower cost. You can continue to buy that over and over and over again, or you can make a statement to invest not only in your people, but in what your people have to wear, which tells them a completely different story from what you're telling them when you buy sort of lower cost or less. You're telling them a story, whether you want to believe it or not.
Yeah.
This isn't an investment. You're not worthy of being invested into.
We want you to be really nice to this really high-end customer, but we're going to dress you in the cheapest clothes we can find. Right. That's what they're saying.
That's what they're saying. And for us, it's a journey just like anything is, but to really speak to the right client for us, or the right company where they want to embody this. And this is the way that they intend to treat their clients.
Yeah.
We've learned, we're not for everybody. But ultimately, if you're in the business of treating your employees like the humans that they are, that the valuable individuals that they are, and you have just as much a concern of making them happy as you have to make your clients happy, then you're for us and we're for you.
Yeah. That's a whole nother different topic, right? So tell me about fast fashion. What are your thoughts on fast fashion that's happening right now?
So I'm not an advocate of fast fashion. I can understand those individuals that have built their enterprise to cater to it because they are catering to a marketplace that does have a need or does have a desire for fast fashion. I specifically chose and choose not to participate in it because of, I would say, one, the destruction that it brings, two, subconsciously what it is teaching the buyers or those that are privy to it is that this doesn't really matter. You're buying something for today, you're going to throw it out tomorrow.
And waste.
It has a lot of byproducts and ramifications to that type of attitude, is that nothing is effectively worth it. And it's reinforced by the price tag that you'll often see attached to those items.
It's very cheap. And it's surprising. I always take a look and where it's made and then always just connect the dots at what speed these clothes are being produced. It's concerning. And at the price they're selling it for, it's who's getting abused down the line.
What is happening? What is allowing this product that I can see a comparable product at this place that's 25 times the price? What is the disconnect? And it's not a comment on I only prefer luxury or I only want a deal in the ultra high end. There are people at all levels of the spectrum.
Sure.
I've bought items on the very, very low end. I've bought used items, pre-worn. It's not a reflection of socioeconomic status. It is oftentimes those clothes, like certain foods, are incredibly harmful.
Yeah.
Is cotton better than spandex? That's a conversation that you can have. A lot of, let's say, fast fashion items are sprayed, are infused with very harmful chemicals.
Right. I didn't even think of that.
And that's what you're putting on your skin. That's what's seeping into the largest organ in your body time and time and time again.
Right.
Ultimately leading down the path to, various ailments. I don't want to make ridiculous claims that aren't fact-checked, but leading to ailments, leading to lung issues, breathing issues when you're breathing
skin
in.
Issues.
Skin issues. There was an issue with an airline, I think just after the height of COVID, but a lot of the airline staff was becoming tremendously ill. Skin irritations, rashes, blisters, breathing issues, because the clothing that the airline procured was very inexpensive.
Oh my gosh.
Because it was treated with all of these chemicals to look
starchy,
to look a certain way, to be able to go through many different laundry cycles.
Right.
But that's why, because it's basically full of chemicals, and ultimately those chemicals were now leaching onto the staff's skin.
That is so scary.
And there are various levels of that happening all over with fast fashion.
That's such a good point. There's some things I didn't even think about there, that it's ultimately probably not good for your health. Anything that's produced so quickly, we have to have more of a critical view on what it's going to do to us. And it just happens so fast and it's so cheap that people don't go through that vetting process.
And as other factors come into life, it's quite expensive to live, or my rent or my mortgage or my housing costs have gone up by X and my car has gone up by Y, and all of these other factors
to make concessions.
Right, that are contributing to, okay, how much do I have for clothes that I have to wear to work? Okay, my budget says X.
Yeah.
And that's the need that it fills.
Right.
And that's why I made the comment, is that it's not a reflection of socioeconomic status. There are tons of other elements that are leading to it being a huge market. I'm not going to name the individual, but you can go look at it. One of the, I believe the last time I checked, top 50 in the world is fast fashion owner.
Yeah.
And new players continue to be added to that list, because when you fill a tremendous void in the marketplace with a product at a price point that is where it is, well, you're going to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
You're probably the only one making a lot.
Yeah.
And everybody else along the way is in all likelihood being exploited in some manner.
Exploitation, that's the right word for it. Let's shift into a different topic, is being a dad. So now you're a proud dad of 3.
Yes.
So when you had first started, left Nike, started Lingo Luxe, You had done it for this vision, to have a family, and now you're a dad of 3. How is it being a dad and entrepreneurship and having so many little mouths to feed? Mouths that talk back, too. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, they're very good at expressing themselves.
Yeah? How old are they?
3. We have a 8-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 17-month-old.
You're in the prime age of fun.
Prime age of fun. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of physical activity in the house, a lot of chasing, a lot of running. But it's tremendous. I would say before anything, it's an incredible blessing to be a father, to have gone through the process now 3 times. My incredible wife has given birth to 3 children.
Yes, she has.
With no medication.
Wow.
It's pretty incredible to see what the human body can do.
Very impressive.
Right. Not everybody is afforded
Yeah.
the opportunity, and oftentimes there's complications. To be able to be there and to witness it.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to give respect where respect is due.
Sure.
So to have seen that was just unbelievable. From a business side, yes, it's the sort of one of the culminations of a vision, is to say, yeah, this is what I prayed about, what I hoped would happen, and to see it happen now, I take it very seriously. There's a level of work ethic that I'm hopeful that my children are observing and seeing that, okay, things don't just happen by accident.
Yeah.
There's a lot of happenstance in the world, and sometimes you're lucky. I like to consider myself an extremely lucky person, but within that, there's a lot of planning or conscious actions that have to take place in order to get the desired result. I hope that they see that. I hope that they see their mother and I communicating. I've got to communicate to my clients to attract those clients. But more importantly, I have to communicate to them, to my wife, and I have to be open to their communication to keep things oftentimes on as even as a playing field as possible.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say there's a work-life balance, is that oftentimes things are imbalanced,
Yeah.
but through communication, it's okay.
Yeah.
A while ago, okay, I was away for 10 days. So you've got to communicate
Plan.
6 months before those 10 days. How is this going to happen? What am I going to need to do while I'm away? What are you going to need to do? Children, okay, I'm doing this. It forces you to become a better version of yourself. And the more you can act, reflect, act again, reflect, the better off you'll be.
It's tough. It's really that kind of what we were talking about before, and being an entrepreneur is that mix of like wildness and organized chaos, right? It's like the same with having children too.
Right.
Right? You really need to have the blend of the two because it's just it's crazy.
It's crazy. And until you have them, I don't think you can fully embrace it. Like
you cannot. You don't know.
No.
You just don't know. But I get it. I don't get it because I don't have 3, but my one is like 3.
I'm sure she would love that.
So what does casual wear, Andrew, look like? What do you look like when you're not in a suit? Because I haven't seen that yet.
No, you should have a conversation with my wife. She'll give you some pretty hilarious anecdotes. So as you mentioned before, I love to golf.
Yes.
So she will say if I'm not in pajamas, a suit, or a golf outfit, I'm naked and I'm showering. I'm wearing a suit, I'm going golfing, or I'm sleeping.
What's your pajamas look like?
It's a
Uber luxurious?
beautiful navy silk. I've had 100
I
pairs.
bet.
I'm kidding.
I bet. I'm like, leave it to Andrew. Like the nerves I had dressing for today's podcast, I ended up just wearing all black.
It's a safe place.
Yeah.
I would love to have those. I mean, casual wise, I will wear jeans,
Okay.
a polo.
A golf shirt.
Yeah. Like a t-shirt. I'll wear like a Lenzing Modal APM
There it is.
hoodie. That was one of the very first prototype pieces I ever made.
Okay.
Was a hoodie. And it had a silk or a satin
Oh, that's cool.
interior,
Yeah.
silk pockets, and we had an oversized hood. I sold it in high school as the hangover hoodie.
Amazing.
And I sold a lot of hangover hoodies.
You should bring those back.
I should
Maybe
back.
to like the 40-year-olds now.
Right. To just say, hey, do you ever have that feeling after dealing with your kids?
Yeah.
Check
Right.
this out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say that's like casual me.
I've never seen that, but we will. One day we will make
day.
that happen. So typically I like to finish off with rapid fires. I'm very proud to say that I've made them all fashion related just for you today. What's the biggest style mistake men make?
Dressing for other people instead of dressing for themselves.
Okay, that's good. Who's your dream collaboration?
Kanye West.
Oh, yeah? That would be cool. What's your go-to power color?
It's a good question. Black.
Really? Why? That's not what I would have thought you said at all.
And so I would say I separated, when you asked the question, I'm thinking power. There is asserting power and there's observed power. So if I were to assert power, it would be a brighter, bolder color. I would say red. If power were to be observed, it would be black. So there you are. I'm observing your power.
Okay, I'll take it. I was actually it's out of fear. I was so intimidated by being beside you today. Let me just wear the safest color possible.
How do I do this? Right.
Oh my goodness. This one might be an easy for you, but what's your favorite fabric for a suit?
Ooh.
Okay.
Because it's a blend. That's why.
But is yours like a custom blend? This is the Lingo Luxe special blend?
No.
Okay.
We would love that, but haven't experimented with that yet.
Yeah.
My favorite fabric is linen, wool, and silk. So
Is that what this is?
This is actually not. This is wool and silk. So it's missing the linen. But if I had to pick one fabric, I would pick vicuña.
Sounds like a flower.
Its nickname is the fabric of the gods.
Oh, where did we get this?
You can only get it off of the animal. It's called a vicuña.
Write
And
this down.
it's in the llama family, various regions of the Andes, primarily in Argentina. And from just underneath the jaw to the throat, I would say it's maybe 6 or 7 inches of space. That's the only area on the body of the vicuña that they can harvest the fibers
to make the fabric.
to make the fabric. Because the rain, the sun, all of the natural elements that the animal is exposed to, just underneath the jawbone into sort of the breast, that's the only area that isn't impacted by the elements. When you touch it, I don't feel there's an adequate word that can describe what it feels like when you touch it. I don't have a full suit.
You have a part of a suit?
I have jackets.
Wow.
And
Next time, can you wear it and you'd be like, Cindy, vicuña.
Touch this. This
You're
is
like,
the way
it's
of the future.
vicuña.
So that would be, if I pick one fabric, that would be the fabric.
Wow. I want that fabric now. Maybe in a blanket.
Yeah.
All right. What's your biggest pet peeve in fashion? What's something that just really irks you?
That's a good question.
I told you I made them all fashion just for you today.
They're all good. Pretentiousness.
Oh, but that's so many fashion houses.
That's my answer, because I'm more so from the fact that, and I think it's in some of the videos that I put out, is that it shouldn't be inaccessible. Fashion is, okay, it's my expression. It should be whatever you choose to be. And why I said pretentiousness is that sometimes it is, or oftentimes rather, it is used to make it inaccessible or to be exclusionary when it doesn't need to be.
Right.
You can always be insanely aspirational, incredibly high price point, full of creativity and uniqueness. You can do all of those things without being pretentious or fake. So in fashion, that's my biggest pet peeve.
That's a good one. I wouldn't have thought you said that, but I thought you were going to be like buckles or something. Thank you so much, Andrew. I've learned so much from you, and I think that your journey has just been really inspiring about how you got to your business now, and that you should be so proud of your integrity and your philosophy on business, but also that it comes from such a personal journey for you too. And I remember the first time meeting you, I felt like a really nice synergy just because I could feel the kind of warm person you are on the inside. And that really came out today. So I'm really glad to have met you and got to interview you for the podcast.
Awesome. Well, I'm very thankful for you asking me to be on it. It's always a pleasure to spend time with people, or in your case, with a person that has that warmth, that has a genuine desire that has built something, that is cultivating like-minded people and sharing experiences with people that maybe they're on the beginning of their journey.
Exactly.
Or maybe they're at the end and they want to do something else or start over or reinvent. So to put that out into the marketplace, into the universe is something that I commend you on as well. And it's an honor to be here.
Thank you. You can find Andrew. We will link his links in our show notes at lingoluxe.com and apmapparel.com. He's on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn for all three, which we'll put in the show notes. And he's offered a free consultation as well as a quiz that you have to fill out to receive 15% off. Thank you so much. That was amazing.
Thank you, Cindy.
I'm so glad you joined us today for the Fearless Entrepreneurs podcast. If this episode resonated with you, share it with a friend or someone who could use a little inspiration. You can always reach me, your host, Cindy Chang, directly on Instagram or Spotify DM. I love hearing from you. Don't forget to hit subscribe and leave a review. It truly means the world to me. Until next time, stay fearless.